The Zorithian fleet hung in Earth's orbit, their silvery ships gleaming against the blue marble below. For humanity, it was the moment science fiction had promised but few believed would happen in their lifetimes. The Zorithians had arrived with peaceful intentions, eager to study the biodiversity of this strange, verdant world. Dr. Amelia Grant, a xenobiologist and one of Earth's foremost experts on extraterrestrial biology, stood in the bustling United Nations Command Center, clutching her tablet. Her eyes were locked on the live feed from the Zorithian ambassador's holographic projection. A shimmering, translucent being with elongated limbs and iridescent skin. Its voice resonated through the chamber, musical and layered, as it expressed their purpose. "We wish to learn about your planet's life forms," the Zorithian ambassador said. "Your world is remarkable in its diversity, a rarity in our travels. Please grant us access to your databases, so we may study it remotely." The request was met with cautious optimism. Humanity had prepared for this, crafting a carefully curated database of Earth species to present to alien civilizations. Within hours, the Zorithians were granted access. What followed was a torrent of data streaming into the Zorithian mothership, where their scholars began their work. Amelia watched the holographic projection blink out, her excitement tempered by a nagging sense of unease. First contact was a delicate dance, and while the Zorithians seemed peaceful, she couldn't shake the feeling that their interpretation of Earth's ecosystem might differ from humanity's. Her concern was validated just days later. The Zorithians requested a follow-up communication, their tone no longer melodic but strained. "Dr. Grant," the ambassador began when their holographic image returned, "your world is perilous beyond imagination. We were unprepared for the revelations your database has presented." Amelia frowned. "Perilous? I'm not sure I understand." The ambassador's translucent skin shifted hues, a sign of agitation. "Your catalog prioritizes creatures labeled as deadliest. These organisms, sharks, crocodiles, venomous snakes, are predators of unparalleled ferocity. They rule your lands and seas. Your species has not only survived among them but thrives. It defies logic." Amelia suppressed a sigh of frustration. The database included sections highlighting Earth's apex predators, mostly for their ecological importance. To the Zorithians, it seemed these creatures represented the entirety of Earth's fauna. "These species are part of a balanced ecosystem," she explained carefully. "They aren't threats to humanity in the way you're interpreting. Most humans live their entire lives without encountering them." But the Zorithians weren't convinced. "We've seen your documentation," the ambassador countered, projecting a hologram of a great white shark breaching the ocean's surface. "You celebrate these creatures. You study them. Your kind even dives into their domains." Amelia opened her mouth to respond, but the Zorithian continued, their tone shifting to one of alarm. "And this, your species has learned to command predators. Dogs bred for war, birds of prey trained to hunt for you. If humans can tame Earth's deadliest creatures, what else are you capable of?" Amelia was taken aback. What the Zorithians saw as evidence of humanity's dominance over nature, she saw as humanity's ingenuity and adaptability. Yet she realized how alien this might seem to a species with no experience of predation. "Ambassador," Amelia said, her voice calm but firm, "what you're observing is not a quest for domination, but a partnership. Humanity has evolved alongside these creatures, learning to respect and, in some cases, coexist with them. We understand their power, which is why we approach them with caution." The ambassador's iridescent form shimmered, a sign of deliberation. "Still, the risk is undeniable. Your species has adapted to a world filled with dangers that would obliterate lesser beings. This resilience concerns us. It is not a trait we have encountered before." Amelia tilted her head, her curiosity piqued. "Are you saying no other species in the galaxy lives alongside predators?" "Not in this way," the ambassador admitted. "Our homeworld eradicated such threats long ago. The idea of coexisting with danger is alien to us. It makes your kind unpredictable." The conversation ended on a tense note. The Zorithians announced they would conduct further studies from orbit, unwilling to risk direct contact. Amelia left the command center with a growing sense of foreboding. Back in her office, she reviewed the Zorithians' downloaded footage, noting their fixation on Earth's apex predators. It wasn't just fear. They seemed almost obsessed with humanity's ability to adapt and thrive in such a hazardous environment. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. It was an encrypted message from the Zorithians. We must understand how your species survived on this death world. Perhaps then, we can determine if coexistence is possible. Amelia stared at the screen, the weight of their words sinking in. To the Zorithians, Earth was not a cradle of life but a battlefield of survival, and humanity was its most enigmatic weapon. She exhaled slowly, her resolve hardening. If the Zorithians were to learn the truth, she would have to show them the whole picture of Earth's beauty, its balance, and humanity's capacity for both destruction and harmony. The stakes of first contact had just shifted, and Amelia knew the next steps would determine whether humanity's relationship with the Zorithians would be one of alliance or alienation. Inside the Zorithian mothership, the Council of Scholars convened in their observation chamber. Holographic displays flickered around the room, projecting Earth's landscapes and creatures in vivid detail. The chamber, normally a place of curiosity and discovery, was heavy with unease. Council leader Vorin stood at the center, his translucent form shifting between shades of green and yellow, a clear sign of anxiety. We have studied many worlds, he began, addressing the gathered scholars. But Earth is unlike anything we've encountered. Its life forms are defined by predation and conflict. And humanity thrives in this chaos. The scholars murmured in agreement as footage from Earth's biodiversity database played. A lion took down a wildebeest on the African savanna. An orca breached the icy waters to snatch a seal. A snake coiled around its prey with unrelenting precision. These predators are masters of their domains, Vorin continued, his tone grim. Yet humans have not only survived. They've tamed and even outmaneuvered them. One scholar, Arlix, gestured toward a projection of ancient cave paintings. Their history confirms this, he said. Early humans hunted megafauna, creatures far stronger and deadlier than themselves. They developed tools, strategies, and resilience unmatched in the galaxy. Such traits are disconcerting. The room fell silent as a drone feed flickered onto the central display. The Zorithians had deployed autonomous observation devices across Earth, blending into the environment to study humanity directly. What they saw further deepened their concerns. The first feed showed a group of diverse swimming among sharks. The humans moved calmly, unarmed, as the massive predators glided past them. How can they show no fear? A scholar whispered. The next feed depicted a falconer training a bird of prey. The hawk responded to the human's commands with precision, its natural instincts harnessed for cooperative hunting. Another feed showed a conservationist soothing an injured tiger, tending to its wounds as the massive predator lay docile beneath their touch. It is not just their ability to survive, Arlix said, his voice tinged with awe. They manipulate and coexist with these creatures. They transform threats into allies. Vorin's form darkened to a deep blue, signaling unease. This ability to adapt is their most dangerous trait. It extends beyond predators. Humans shape their environment, bending it to their will. If they can do this on Earth, what might they do on other worlds? The scholars fell into a heated debate. Some argued that humanity's adaptability was a sign of potential collaboration, while others saw it as a harbinger of destruction. As the discussion raged, another drone feed appeared. It showed humans engaging in rescue efforts during a wildfire. A firefighter carried a frightened koala to safety, while others worked tirelessly to save both people and animals from the encroaching flames. The room grew quiet. For the first time, the scholars saw a different side of humanity, not as conquerors or manipulators, but as protectors. Vorin broke the silence. Their complexity is undeniable. They are both destroyers and saviors, predators and caretakers. This duality makes them unpredictable, and that unpredictability is what we must understand. The session concluded with a resolution to continue observing. But as the scholars departed, Vorin lingered, staring at the projection of Earth. Perhaps, he muttered to himself, the deadliest creatures are not those with fangs or claws, but those capable of compassion. As the holograms faded, the Zorithians prepared for the next phase of their study, determined to uncover the truth about humanity and its place in the galaxy. In the heart of the Zorithian mothership, the Council of Scholars delved deeper into their research. Their latest findings unsettled even the most composed among them. It was not Earth's predators that alarmed them now, but humanity itself. Observe this, Council Leader Vorin said, gesturing toward a holographic feed. The projection displayed archival footage of human warfare, armies clashing on battlefields, cities razed by bombs, and nuclear explosions lighting the skies. The scholars watched in horrified silence as the images unfolded. This species has weaponized its intelligence, Vorin continued, his translucent form glowing a deep blue of apprehension. They've transformed their planet's resources into tools of destruction. They do not merely adapt to threats, they create them. The scholars shifted nervously, their iridescent hues fluctuating. Arlix, the youngest among them, spoke hesitantly. Council leader, is it not also true that their conflicts have driven progress? Their advancements in medicine, engineering, and space exploration all stem from the same ingenuity. Vorin's form brightened slightly in acknowledgement. That is true, Arlix. But the question remains, at what cost? Their ability to innovate is unparalleled, but so is their capacity for devastation. The hologram shifted, showing drone footage of a military training exercise. Soldiers moved in coordinated formations, their weapons precise and deadly. Machines of war, tanks, fighter jets, and submarines were displayed in stark contrast to the Zorithians' own pacifist technologies. This is what sets humanity apart, Vorin said. They have turned their environment into an arsenal. They've tamed predators, harnessed fire, and mastered the atom. And yet, they still fight amongst themselves. Arlix interjected again, his tone more confident. Council leader, I believe their adaptability is key to understanding them. Yes, they are capable of destruction, but they also rebuild. Look at their history. After every conflict, they find ways to heal. They strive for peace, even as they prepare for war. The projection shifted once more, displaying images of human cooperation. International aid during natural disasters, global treaties to limit nuclear weapons, and collaborative efforts to address climate change. Vorin studied the images, his form flickering with indecision. It is a paradox, he admitted. They are destroyers and creators, warlike and compassionate. This duality makes them unpredictable and potentially dangerous. The room fell silent as the scholars contemplated this. Finally, Vorin turned to address the council. We must tread carefully. Humanity's deadliest weapon is not its predators, its machines, or even its weapons. It is their intelligence, their ability to adapt and overcome any challenge. If they turn this trait outward, the consequences could be catastrophic for the galaxy. Arlix hesitated before speaking. Council leader, might this same adaptability make them allies? If we guide them, perhaps they could use their traits to benefit others, not just themselves. Vorin's form shifted to a contemplative green. Perhaps, but we must ensure they are not a threat first. As the scholars dispersed, Vorin lingered, staring at the projection of Earth. Humanity is a force unlike any we've encountered, he muttered. Whether that force is a boon or a curse remains to be seen. With that, the council prepared to escalate their study of humanity, determined to uncover whether this duality was a strength or a danger to the galaxy. Dr. Amelia Grant stood in front of the large monitor in the United Nations Command Center, her gaze fixed on the shimmering holographic form of Zorithian Council leader Vorin. The alien's translucent body pulsed faintly, signaling their hesitation. For days, tensions had risen between Earth and the Zorithians as misunderstandings about humanity's nature deepened. Council leader Vorin, Amelia began, her voice calm but resolute. You've seen fragments of our world, snapshots that emphasize danger and conflict. But Earth is more than its predators, its wars, or even its adaptability. Allow me to show you what you've missed. Vorin's hues shifted, signaling curiosity. Proceed, Dr. Grant. We will observe. Amelia activated a series of live feeds, carefully curated to reflect the broader picture of life on Earth. The first feed showed a lush rainforest, where a team of conservationists worked to release a rehabilitated eagle back into the wild. The bird spread its wings and soared into the sky, a symbol of freedom and resilience. This is humanity too, Amelia said. We don't just dominate nature. We protect it. We understand the importance of balance, even if we don't always achieve it perfectly. The next feed transitioned to an urban park in the heart of a bustling city. Children played on swings, their laughter filling the air, while nearby, volunteers planted trees to combat urban pollution. Here you see cooperation, Amelia continued. We build communities. We nurture life, even in environments we've altered. It's a part of who we are. Adaptation not just for survival, but for growth and harmony. Voron's form flickered as the Zorithians watched in silence. The final feed showed a global relief effort in action. After a devastating hurricane, volunteers from multiple countries worked together to provide food, shelter, and medical care to the affected region. This, Amelia said softly, is humanity at its best. When faced with adversity, we come together. Our ingenuity isn't just a weapon. It's a tool for creation, for healing, for helping one another. For a long moment, Voron did not respond. The chamber was silent, the Zorithians' colors shifting through a spectrum of thought. Finally, Voron spoke, his voice resonating with a newfound depth. You have shown us a truth we had not considered, Dr. Grant, he said. Humanity is complex, both dangerous and compassionate. Your ability to create and destroy is unparalleled, but so is your capacity for unity and care. It is unexpected. Amelia nodded. We are far from perfect, council leader. But if you choose to work with us, to guide us as partners, we can learn from each other. You fear our unpredictability, but perhaps it's that very unpredictability that makes us valuable. Voron's form brightened, signaling agreement. You have given us much to consider. We will send a delegation to meet with your people and explore the possibility of collaboration. Perhaps, together, we can ensure that your potential becomes a force for good. The transmission ended, leaving Amelia with a mixture of relief and anticipation. Humanity's future relationship with the Zorithians would depend on mutual understanding and trust. But for now, a bridge had been built. As the first Zorithian ship descended toward Earth, Amelia stood outside the command center, watching it pierce the atmosphere. The world held its breath as humanity took its first steps toward a shared future with a species that had once feared them. Perhaps, she thought, the greatest strength of both humanity and the Zorithians wasn't their differences but their willingness to find common ground despite them.